everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back if this is your 12th Walker Season 2 episode review. Oh my god, has it been... It's been so long, just in general, because I wasn't really expecting another hiatus in March for me. I wasn't really. We were still doing... obviously, the show kept going on, but it wasn't as consistent as I wanted it to be. However, here we are. We're back in full force. Walker's back. Rookie's coming back this Sunday. It's a great time to be alive for me again. And also, big news. Walker has been renewed for Season 3. That's right. Let's go. I'm very happy. They confirmed it over the break that Walker will be returning for a third season next TV season, which means we will be continuing our Walker every episode review into Season 3. So I'm very excited. Obviously, of course, I think they're wrapping up Season 2 right now as we speak. So it's great for them to know that they will be coming back and that we will continue to see the Walker family story continue in a third season. However, this season might end it up. No updates on Walker Independence. I know they did a lot of casting over the break as well. And again, like I said before, if Walker Independence does get picked up for a full series, we will do a review series for that as well, because, it's all in the family. But this week on Walker, coming back after such a massive thing. Like last episode felt like this was getting into the penultimate episode. And once again, Walker just does it where like this felt like a finale episode, even though we still had like at least a decent amount of episodes to go. But the way they ended this episode was like they're kicking off the last quarter of Walker. There's a lot of more questions. There's a lot of more mystery to be handled. And honestly, I was surprised by the end of the episode. Like, let me clarify that. I wasn't surprised at one aspect of this episode, but I was surprised on another aspect of the episode that I wasn't even thinking about. Even though the episode previously that we reviewed was the one that, okay, technically I do understand. I should have been more aware of it, but I wasn't thinking of it like that. And so there's now more things for us to discover when we, as we continue this story, as we continue through this last leg of the second season of Walker, which I think that's all I gotta say about it, like opening wise. Let's just get through the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Walker. But again, once again, congrats to us for we're getting another season. Hopefully, Independence does get picked up as well, so we'll have 2 Walker shows on the air next year. That'll be a lot of fun. But again, we'll see how it goes. There's still a lot of mystery and still a lot of like things to be handled before we can make an official sale. Although I will say, if Walker Independence does get picked up, I will be complimenting Catherine McNamara in every episode. Let's just say that. So, anyway, let's get to it. So, we begin this episode with... damn, I forgot how we began this episode. I really did. And I think like the back half kind of enthralled me more than I was expecting. And I really forgot how the first half began. I know everyone's like getting ready for the big race. I know that everyone's kind of, obviously on the Walker family, they're choosing Cordell to go up there, but however, him and Liam are still under the mindset of they're gonna try to make peace with the Davisons, even if they win. They're like, look, here's our chance, here's our opportunity to we'll win, but we'll still allow them to live at their house. We'll still allow them to be at their home, so that because they just want they want this rivalry to end. They want the family feud to be over with. Sadly for Grandpa Walker, he doesn't believe like that. There's been so much turmoil between the Walker and Davisons that it was like, once this is over and we win, that is it. There is no more feud because they will have nothing for us to feud over with. So that is it. Which is pretty harsh in my opinion. But then again, yeah, when you have a feud that's been going on for many, many, many centuries, well, not centuries, generations, then I'm not really surprised this turned out to be the result of things. I know on the Davison side, they're not even really thinking about the race too much, as of course, D.A. Davison's dealing with her pending separation and then separation from her husband because she's had a ton to deal with him. She had a ton, so she's ready to throw him out regardless of the race coming up. And even the old patriarch of the Davison family, Grandma Davison, is still trying to look, let's focus on the race. He's our best chance of winning. And she's like, I don't care. I don't want an association with him. I will race if I have to. We're still going to win, but, I'm going to she's having some backup plans, obviously, as she mentioned before to Liam last time, is that she's going to reopen the investigation into her dad's death, and regardless of what happens of the race, that this will be her second chance of taking down the walkers, regardless, because she knows something's up. She really knows something's up. And even them both bringing up the lantern, like the lantern's the key in this whole thing, but they just don't know about it yet. But oh yeah, I remember how. So the episode began with an old circa 1980s 1990s TV recording of the news coverage of the Walkers, of the Daversons family's barns burning, as well as the original Daverson's death, which was kind of a very weird interview, so to speak. I mean, well, first of all, there's two big things to like point out here that I have to poke holes at. Is that this woman literally called out a kid for killing her husband, and they never follow up on that. Like, again, I'm pretty sure like the remaining episodes will probably deal with the whole potential investigation into Cordell. I'm pretty sure that's going to open up some factors, but really, like, they just casually mention like, oh, this kid killed my husband, and then all of a sudden no one even talks about it. Fishy in my ears. I know, and then afterwards, yeah, so it's Cordell watching it. He's just kind of like remembering that time. It's helping influence him on trying to like maybe peacefully settle this feud even after the race is over. So he's thinking like that. And the second thing is that they never found the lantern in the wreckage. I mean, for me, like, I know like last year was like so far away, but I distinctly remember the lantern was kind of in plain sight. I mean, I really don't know how the Rangers and like anyone who was at the scene didn't discover a lantern. Even the Daversons after the fact, like they never went inside and roamed. It's kind of suspicious in my head. It really is. But regardless of that, I want to say afterwards, yeah, so Cordell's getting trained for the race, Grandpa Walker's giving him some last few pointers about how to like really win a race with a horse, and Walker's new partner is also the new stable hand, and she's just enjoying Walker getting his ass whooped, because obviously for some reason when it comes to horses, I never rode a horse before, I could be wrong, but realistically speaking, a horse can detect the rider's thoughts and their emotional states. So Walker being very clouded and like unsure of things, it kind of makes the horse unsure as well. Like, you have to be confident, you have to be sturdy when you're riding a horse, and Walker wasn't feeling it in that moment. It's gotten to the point where like Walker gets really frustrated that the horse breaks his phone, which is like, I'm pretty sure, I'm really hoping Cordell's like tech savvy, otherwise the iCloud thing is not going to go well for him. It really isn't. And he does admit, like, yeah, he's been thinking about the whole, peaceful resolution between the Daversons, so to speak, and he tells that to his dad. But his dad is like, no, absolutely not. Like, they don't deserve anything. They really don't. I want to say, yeah, I'm sorry. There really is no subplot this week. James isn't there. Trey isn't there as well. There really isn't much going on. It's just the Walker and Daverson feud. I know the young Walkers are at the side stool with their friends, having just a nice chill weekend hangout. Jerry's watching them like the future stepmom she will be. It's pretty obvious that she's stepmom material. I mean, yeah, no one can replace, I forgot her name there, Emily. No one will replace her, but in the hearts of her kids and her family. But Jerry's like we said before, if anyone was to take over, like finishing up the motherhood or guardianship, it's Jerry. It definitely is. So that's more impregnant when D.A. Daverson shows up questioning August about the whole lantern thing, because we know that August took the lantern, but however for the Daversons, they really don't know, but they have a feeling he did, because obviously the whole that big party thing like earlier this season, that sort of thing. So they're aware of it, and she's kind of grilling him for questions. And like, I honestly thought like the side stool is just like everyone's just looking at this because like everyone knows like, oh my god, it's a big freaking deal, like this race, and this like family feud. And thankfully Jerry steps in and like assures her place that I may not be this kid's, family member, but hell, I've been involved in their life so much that I do consider myself part of their family. So if you have a problem with them, you're gonna have to go for me too. So they say, you know what? That's fine. Let's go to Ranger HQ. Let's have a neutral place. Let's finish this interrogation off ride. I want to say, yeah. So this episode goes by pretty fast. I know that Grandma Walker visits the Daversons' gravestone. which is somewhere in the lands of Texas, and they're just having a moment together, and she's remembering the time that she witnessed the fire. I believe that's what she was mentioning. There's still a lot about Grandma Walker and her relationship. I know they've just been bare bones. Like, they were in love before, they were engaged, and then she left him for Grandpa Walker. But there's still so much we don't know about that I really hope that, to cut ahead for next week. Next week seems to be a flashback heavy episode, so I really want to see how this is all, like, what the real truth of it is. It is curious to me right now, so to speak, with that. Yeah, so I know there's a scene where I keep saying, like, a scene, like, I know, like, it's been a while since I recapped anything, like, on scene to scene. I know Walker eventually kind of has it out with his partner about his dad's demeanor, and meanwhile, the new partner is just, I already forgot her name, I apologize. It's been, well, I think it's Cassie. Cassie. She's just enjoying the Walker's homemade trail mix, and she's having a blast being part of the Walker family now. And she doesn't admit, like, like, her side of the thing, like, you know what, yeah, your dad can be a hard ass, but how can you imagine? This is like a family feud that goes back generations. I'm not surprised of the amount of investment and the stubbornness he does have, more than usual. Jerry goes in for the door and reveals that, like, Mrs. Davidson's has done this to August, so they're both at the station right now, and Walker's slowly becoming a little pissed that she had to involve her own son, his own son, into this. And Jerry reveals, like, the lantern, like, she wants to know about the lantern, and then that's conveniently when Grandpa Walker step back in. And of course, Jerry and Grandpa Walker had that moment last episode about the lantern, that this is what I was cluing in about. Like, there's something more about the lantern that we don't know about. And again, I didn't really think about it at the time, because I thought this was just a lantern with the Walker's symbol on it that has a relation to the fire. That's all I thought it was. And then Grandpa Walker reveals that he buried it because he didn't want it to be a thorn. It's always been a problem for the Walkers, and the better it's buried away, the better they'll be in the long run. But Walker's like, this is kind of the stupid shit that creates new conflicts for this feud to never die down. So you need to start fixing the problem now before it goes into another generation. That we need to get this lantern back to the Davidsons because it was on their property. They have a right to it. Regardless of what happens to us, that lantern needs to go there. So Walker demands the location of the lantern, which he does. He delivers it to the D.A. Davidson. He gets his son freed from this very weird interrogation, and he basically frightens her, like, I was going to consider trying to make some peace with you and your family, but, like, after today, like, absolutely not. That's not in the cards anymore. Like, whatever happens tomorrow, that's it. We're done. And obviously she's like she's a lawyer. She's got multiple cards to play. Like, there's a chance she might lose the race tomorrow, but now that she has the lantern, that does create another opportunity to take down the Walkers in another way. So then now all the focus is on the race right now. I know we cut back to the side stool where I think Liam's catching up with Stella about just what's going on with everything that's with the upcoming race and that sort of thing. However, Mr. Davidson shows up to pick up his son, and obviously Stella and I forgot his name already. Colt. I want to say his name is Colt. I heard Colt so many times. I'm gonna assume it's Colt. So they're obviously, because Colt has feelings for Stella, and Stella's now seriously dating this other dude. He's not feeling 100% comfortable around her, which honestly, for me, as even when I was at that age, I'm not surprised. / I would agree with him. However, just like more of his like feelings and just the aggression between this entire conflict kind of builds up and kind of motivates Mr. Davidson to keep on fighting regardless of there will be a separation and a divorce between them. And Liam's like, look, we can end this here right now. Let's end this feud. I will offer you 20 acres of your land, of our land, so you can keep living. And at first, I think Mr. Davidson considers it, but then he realizes, no, why would I set up for 20 when I know I can get the whole lay of the land? And even goes to his mother-in-law, Grandma Davidson, about it, and she agrees, like, you are our best chance of winning. We will beat the Walkers tomorrow, and we will kick them out of their land, just to show them they're not always the high and mighty people they are. So they form that plan for it, and then I believe later that night, Walker makes peace with it with his dad and Grandpa Walker, and everyone's kind of like, I think that all the chips are settled now for the race. Everything's set to go. Is there anything else I'm forgetting about that night? I don't believe so. I know we cut to the next day where Grandma Davison shows up to visit her husband's tombstone and notices that Jerry left. Jerry too. Like Grandma, well, not Jerry. The names are confusing. Grandma Walker came earlier to kind of drop off some flowers for his tomb, and she's like a bit picked. Like, oh, I see. It's still the same. Like the woman you love and the woman you married. Like, I mean, it does kind of suck. It really does kind of suck of that analogy. I really want to know more about the sister. I really want to know, but to each their own. But anyway, so then we're at the big race. Everyone's getting ready. Everyone's having these final conversations with each other, going into it like, no matter what, we're gonna win, or no matter what, we're gonna win. Like that sort of mentality. Very nice, sweet moment between Walker and Jerry. Not as a romantic couple, more like as their history with the land, just kind of like symbolizing what really is at stake here with the whole race and this whole feud. And it's sweet. It was a really sweet moment. All the cards have said D.A. Davison's not there because she's handling up some last minute arrangements. Let's just say that. So everything's set. The race is on. And I really hate this trash talk. Whenever people trash talk each other in a show, it's like, yeah, you're setting up to lose. And it's like, whoever says it last is probably the one who's going to lose. And it's like, okay, Davison said it. Maybe there's a chance. Sorry if I'm drinking tea constantly throughout this episode, Mike. I ate a lot of food, so I need some tea in my stomach. I'm probably going to heat up some tea after this recording's done. So the race begins, and honestly, again, shout out to them. It's not often you see helicopter shots in a TV show this often. But it was cool to kind of get multiple angles of the perspective of this race. This was, I think, this was the first time I've seen a race fully at stakes with a TV show, I think. I mean, like a race like with horses. I've seen the Flash race. Yeah, that's already so many times already. So the race is going on where it's, I forgot, Grandpa Walker does give Cordell a little bit more of advice before he starts. Like, there's a certain path in the woods that, it's a fork. Like, the left path is clearly gonna make you the winner if someone was to take care of it, which no one did. So you're probably gonna get hurt when you're out there. So he goes to the right. So when they reach that point, they split. Davison goes to the left and Walker goes to the right. Obviously, Walker's fine, but Davison gets hit by a branch. And honestly, that must be really freaking painful. Like, your rib cage is, it doesn't hold that much. It really doesn't. So to get a smack from a hard tree branch in the middle of the forest, it's like, that's gotta hurt like a bitch. And I really felt bad. Like, Walker could have won this, but this is just the development that you see with Cordell, that he has changed. Like, he is like, no matter what, he's still a good person. He's still a good guy, and he needs to help David. He wants to win fairly, and he does. Like, don't get me wrong, he still trash talks him, but like, he could have just still let him there and just still won. Like, I think if he just let him there and let, like, whatever happened, like, Walker could have won. And I'm saying that, like, yeah, I already spoiled it. Yeah, Walker sadly loses, but we'll get to more about that in a second. So the race resumes, more awesome shots. But before we can see the climax of this race, D.A. Davison finally shows up with a bunch of Texas Rangers. She reveals, after doing forensic studies on this lantern, there were remnants of the Davison's blood on it. So this lantern wasn't just used to start the fire. It was also used as a murder weapon. And they're just all assuming, yeah, because of just everything that's going on, that it's Grandpa Walker who killed him. And it doesn't help anything at all when he just stays silent during this entire proceeding. Like, it's like, I can't reveal the reason why, but it's just, I had something similar to happen, not to me directly, but around me recently about this, where like, the moment you stay silent about an accusation, it's kind of echoing the fact that there is some sentiment to this accusation, that there is something wrong here, and that you really don't know the whole story. And like, just the entire family just looking at him is like, when he's not denying or trying to argue these claims, it's not helpful. It's not reassuring. And, they're all like thinking like, did he actually kill him? And we don't know 100%. Like, again, it's a TV show. Until we see it, we're not going to believe it. So he gets arrested. He gets taken away to the station for questioning. And that's when Walker and Davison kind of like resume back up to the mainland, and they see, obviously Walker's obviously concerned because he's seeing his dad like get taken away by cops. Again, I can relate to that as well. And he's just like fast forwarding as fast as he can because he needs to win this race and he needs to figure out what the hell's going on. But however, and this was like a weird thing because I noticed this when they were framing the shots for like the start of the race, like they focus on Walker's saddle. I'm not really sure if that was intentional or, I'm not really sure 100%. Like, again, maybe I wasn't paying 100% attention. Maybe it'll be like one of those offhand revelations. That's kind of like a really big red flag. Like, you have tears in your saddle. Like, that should have really been addressed or fixed before you went on this race. So I'm pretty sure that's going to come back into play here. But Walker said the saddle sadly breaks. The horse spirals out of control. They both collapse, and Davison manages to catch up quickly to win the race. So not only did the Walkers lose their grandpa, they also lost their ranch. And that's how the episode ends. Like, we just don't know what happens next. We just know that the Walkers are now on the losing side here. They've clearly suffered a big hit, and now we're going to see what happens next. How to, like, ranch aside, they have to get their dad, they have to get their grandpa back. They have to get him back. And they got to find out the truth of what really went on. But that will be for next week. Because that was it for this week's episode of Walker. For me, I thought this was a great episode. I thought it was. The first half was kind of like the slow simmer. It's still nice to get Cassie and like still trying to like get her development, get her bearings with the Walker family that isn't just Cordell. I'm loving they're giving her and Grandpa Walker a little bit of a dynamic too. Kind of like this mentor-mentee relationship sort of going. Similar to what he had with Mickey before she left. Like, they had some inklings of that. Like, there's this mutual respect between them. But we never got to develop that more. But hopefully we'll get that here. I do want to also say that, yeah, I like everything was just great. It really was. Kind of weird at some certain decisions. Like, again, I was not expecting the end. Like, I low-key expected that, yeah, the Walkers were going to lose this race. Like, they cannot win this early. Like, then what's next to the feud? Like, obviously they could have just done the grandpa thing and like had the victory be bittersweet, but giving them like this additional loss definitely does paint them in like in an interesting corner. Like, how do they bounce back from this? How do they figure out the solution to this problem? How do they? And I'm pretty sure, yeah, they're gonna get the ranch at some point back, but right now, like, it's just, how do they settle this? How do they figure this out? Like, there's a lot of things they have to do right now, and things are not going well. Things are really, really not going well. But I like it. I like it. It's literally putting them against the wall that I don't think any of their previous conflicts have given them, because they lost so much already. They now it's like, how do they come back from this incident? How do they come back from this and come back swinging and be the winners again? How? We don't know. And that's what I like about these characters, and what I like about this story is that we're putting them in a very difficult situation. Now we need to figure out a way for them to come back out of it. But we'll find out about that next time. But for this episode, I really enjoyed it. It was a great episode back. And I can't wait to see how the remaining season wraps it up. So I'm going to give this episode 2 thumbs up. Of course, as always, I really enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this week's episode of Walker? I like to talk. I like to conversate. I like to talk about the cowboy hats, if that's even their terms. But I think that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the second season of Walker. If you want to know what we're doing normally and What's the Two besides our Walker episode reviews, we're currently doing rookie episode reviews each and every week after brand new episode on Sunday nights on ABC. So go check that out as well. We do first impression, quick impressions, a lot of other things under the What's on the Tube umbrella. So go check them out as well. If you don't care about Walker, you're in luck. We'll be back next week with another episode review. So stay tuned until then. But again, this has been What's on the Tube from ActionX. Please subscribe to us on youtube.com/ActionX videos. Ring that bell for notification when our next episode reviews live. Please also like, favorite, share if you want to, and follow us on social media to stay up to date with any sort of updates we may have for this channel. And as well as, please subscribe to our new channel, The Collection Compass, live right now on YouTube. So go check that out as well. But until next week, for all you Texas Rangers out there, I'll see you all next week for the next episode review. But until then, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.